If someone Googled Raghu Suram in early 2040s, what would you want them to see?
And we call Turing AI a platform AI put together into a bundle. So when I was working on EB1A myself, I knew this process is really, really tough.
One moment that made you come this far, Raghu.
Hello and welcome to EB1A Experts Podcast. This is a place where we share real stories, practical advice, and insights on your EB1A Green Card journey. I'm Yamni, your host for today, and we are excited to have someone truly special joining us. Our guest today is Raghu Suram, the CEO of EB1A Experts and the mastermind behind this successful innovative company. With years of experience in AI and tech, Raghu has helped countless professionals navigate the EB1A process and turn their dreams into reality. If you have ever wondered how tech and AI can simplify something as complex as EB1A, then this place is just for you. We are going to talk about Raghu's journey, his vision for EB1A experts, and his advice for anyone considering applying for EB1A Green Card. Whether you're just starting or already on the same path, you're in for some great insights. So let's dive in, Raghu. Welcome to the podcast. So let's start with this, Raghu. How would you describe yourself in one sentence?
First of all, thanks a lot for such a nice introduction. Right now, I call myself like CEO, head of AI, AI and tech leader, who's an immigrant professional who's helping immigrant professionals to achieve their dreams. That's how I'm actually describing myself like in one sentence.
Got it. Thanks, Raghu. So we have a couple of questions today, and we wanted your insights who are planning to start their EB1A journey. So would you like to answer? Go dive deep into the answers and the process.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, it's great to be honest, right? It's great to be here. I know there's a lot of questions which are coming to me. I just want to be there and explain my story and how things gonna turn up, like, and help out like the people out there with their goals and with their questions.
Yes, Raghu. So you have had an incredible journey so far. Could you share how it all started and what led you to the tech world?
No, it's a really to be honest, right? Incredible journey, I would say. Last 15 years of my life has been like a roller coaster, to be honest. I started, I graduated like from engineering background, mechanical engineering background per se. I was in the startup world for 4 years. Things did work out like semi-successful, but I always like want to do more, much more. And that actually led me to US, which got me into the tech world. And then I worked like amazing companies like 24/7 AI and Salesforce, where I've learned a lot of great things like about AI, about tech. How can you actually use tech in order to solve the problems? And with all my knowledge, like which over the years in the last decade and a half, that's how actually I started like EB1A Experts. Now using tech, using AI, and we're solving like a lot of different immigration problems.
So from IIT to Salesforce and leading to EB1A experts, what's the one moment that made you come this far, Raghu?
To be honest, if I think throughout my life journey, there are like a lot of memories, a lot of milestones, and a lot of things which I want to talk to you about. One thing what I would say is like right after IIT, I started a company. That from there, like I've learned a lot. I learned talking to the customers. I've learned added accountability on delivery, a lot of different things. Although that journey was like semi-successful, it has actually helped me a lot of things. Then moving to United States for my business journey, where I get my master's in entrepreneurship from USC. A lot of people do talk about like business program. Probably it helps a lot. It helps or not. But to be honest, like this is where like or say you see like a lot of case studies. You see like but learn about a lot of really great people and how they have achieved a lot of things. That's the second moment which I would say like it actually what is it made my vision much more bigger in scale. And that's two other important points as well which I want to talk about. Since first my journey actually took it into a completely different view, where I have learned how to do marketing at scale. How can you project your company or your product in such a way which is incredible? And the scale of marketing Salesforce does, I don't think like anyone would do at that scale. There's another small stint I had at a company called Bold. where you have learned like how much you could actually do like with the internet. It was like completely internet company. Many people don't know about the company there, but they do a lot more stuff. Like a lot of people actually could imagine living their whole life. So these are all the great things like which actually like was it molded my thought process and all the things what I've learned so far, like the AI, what I've learned at 21st AI marketing I learned in sales course, like all the knowledge, all the internet knowledge which I've learned so far, I'm applying down that knowledge to EB1A experts. And the rapid growth, the problems what is following for the customers right now is all because of all the knowledge which I've gained and all the milestones which I've achieved like throughout my career.
Got it. Thanks, Raghu. That's actually interesting. So I have some interesting question to you to ask you, right? So if someone Google Raghu Suram in early 2030s or 2040s, what would you want them to see?
That's a good question. So 2030s and 2040s, which 5 years and 15 years from now. To be honest, like what is the one thing what I have in my mind is like how will I rule like EB1A experts. Probably do 10x or probably do 100x to solve the problems like of all the immigrants in US or probably across the world as well in the future. So to be honest, like 10 years, 15 years from now, I really want me to actually be working in the same thing, and people probably would see me helped so many people, like probably like thousands of people in US and across the world. That's what I'm actually thinking. Probably that's what I really want to be. Nothing more. That's that person who helped like so many professions to achieve their dreams.
Got it, Raghu. So let's talk about some behind the scenes of your journey and the EB1A experts, Raghu, now. So can you take us the behind the scenes of your toughest day as a leader, and can you explain in a brief?
Makes sense. So probably like I'll focus more on my recent tough days. To be honest, like there's so many tough days like throughout my journey. But whenever I have a conversation with a client where we are thinking things will go in a certain direction, but they're not going in that direction. And let's say like we're say things are not working out like in the way we wanted it to be. I would say that's always like a tough day because the reason why it's a tough day is like we committed on something and probably we did not delivered on that specific thing. So that's the reason like we feel tough day. But the most important thing is we try to make sure like just I mean it's a tough day, probably things did not work out, but we always need to have a plan and make sure like what is it those tough days like not come again. However, we know right this is life. Throws all you curveballs like you could have like those tough days at any point, but that's a direction and that's a thought process what they're having it what you really experience.
Got it. How did you came over across it, Raghu? Yeah.
Exactly. So the thought process is there's a lot of different ways. So one is we try to use our knowledge, our expertise to try to overcome that update. That's one thing which we do. The other thing is, I mean, we have a lot of different connections, like could be like a lot of different law firms, and that's something which we usually we talk to them and try to find a solution for the thing what we are actually facing at the moment. And that's the way we have been solving. It's been working out really well. So I hope like it would continue like in the future as well.
Definitely, Raghu. So, what's a decision you made at Salesforce or 24/7 AI that scared you at the time that burnt out to be a game changer?
Amazes. Oh, actually, this story I really want to talk to you all about. So probably you all know I was working at Salesforce at the time, and I put Salesforce and continued like EB1A experts as full time. But before doing that, like of course, like I did talk to like few of my close associates, is like I'm thinking about this direction. What do you all think? Even though I made up my mind before even talking to them, I mean, you're right, all the well wishers, like they asked me to rethink my decisions because Salesforce is a great company. It's like the big company, one of the biggest companies across the world. It's a great job. Like I was a product manager back then, and even though the path is clear, even though things are more clear for me, but to be honest, like that's one thing which actually scared me most in my career. To be honest, like even on the other side, right? It's been a while since I tried. It's been a while since I'm a full time at EB1A experts, and things are working already pretty well with that decision. Just looking back though, I mean, there's definitely like a lot of scary things which happen, right? But the important thing is like how much effort, how much hard work you put into it, and it's like really, really important.
Got it, Raghu. So many of us, including me, are very keen, interested to know this from you, Raghu. So what does your day exactly looks like at EB1A Experts?
Okay, that's a very big question. To be, I mean, so let's start with like EB1A Experts right here. So we're a company. We have like 100 plus team members right now. We're organized into like various different teams, and EB1A is, I mean, to achieve EB1A, like every team they have to work in sync, and every problem need to be solved. So it's a very complex like process needs to be become the better like when there is a collaboration across teams, when there is making sure like things are interlaid and the process and the data is actually included at every point to make DB1 a success for a client. So it's a complex thing. So thinking about the complex things, my job at EB1A Experts is mainly focused on the process. How do we make sure the information flows from point to point so that we achieve like a very good success rate for our clients? That's exactly what we do. And to break down, definitely right, like we need to hire really, really talented people in the company. It's just really, very important for the growth and for the success of the company. That's where I'm spending a lot of my time these days. And also just making sure, right, you do have a very varied profiles. There's a lot of tech in tech, but within tech, like every profile is different. Need to understand, need to strategize in a direction so that like you get the success. But I would say it goes to the most important things for me at this time, and that's what actually I'm focusing on.
Got it, Raghu. So what were some of the most significant challenges that you faced while the process at EB1A Experts?
It's EB1A Experts, right? So, one of the things which I was mentioning just now, like of where I'm focusing on right now, every profile is like different. Every profile is custom, and now thinking to that customization and making sure provides that functionality like in the profile building is very complex process. It's not easy, and when you are trying to do it scale, is like really, really tough. As I explained before, right, what is a debate I'm focusing on right now, and I would say like that's such challenges what we're having. One is definitely like towards every profile, in it we operate like in tech, right? Every profile is like completely different. And we need to think about like a lot of customizations we need to bring. And doing that customization and making sure like what's a video at scale is going to be is a really tough task. Like I haven't thought like it would be this tough, but of course, right? That's where actually I'm spending a lot of my time. And the most important thing is training. Immigration is like so vast and so deep, and whatever you learn today might not be applicable tomorrow. So we need to create the atmosphere. We need to create the culture within the company where everyone is like thinking through what can be done next and how will they learn is like really, really important. And that's a challenge, I would say. We're following some processes like to actually get there. But over time, of course, that one thing will really, really improve on.
Got it, Raghu. So if there's one story from your career that you think everyone should know, what would it be?
That's a very good question. Let me think for a second, right? Uh, Probably like what I said, right after moving to the United States, many people know about my story. I did talk about it a lot, but not many people know what I did before actually moving to the United States. I actually right in my campus placements, I graduated from IIT Guwahati. Right in there, I got a job at like Dr. Reddy Laboratories, which is like one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world or like in Asia per se. It's a dream job, like for many people. To be honest, that's a dream job. It is like for my match mix, like Adani, Navati. But at the time, I quit the job without even joining, and then I started my entrepreneurship journey. As a long story short, right? That's one thing. Like I was there for 4 years. It was really tough. I started working on like a lot of manufacturing. I went to China for there for 2 months. I traveled across India. I was
This is something no one knows that you went to China.
It's
Yeah.
to be honest, right? Like, was not many people know. I haven't shared this thing a lot, to be honest. Like, even my very close friends might not know because we didn't get a chance to talk about this one a lot. So this is one thing really really interesting one, which is the most important thing, right? It did not. I mean, at the time, it did not work out as we wanted it to be. But the most important thing is there's so many learnings. I actually look back at even today at EB1A Experts. I look back on a lot of different things and make sure, like, what does I implement those challenges, learn from those challenges, and then implement at EB1A Experts.
Got it. So let's focus more on EB1A now, Raghu. So what inspired you to launch EB1A Experts and focus on helping tech professionals to achieve their EB1A Green Card?
Yes. That's a good question, Yani. One thing I mean, is my experience is a lot about like entrepreneurship. I've done a lot of like around entrepreneurship. I did my master's in entrepreneurship as well. I did work on like very interesting projects, interesting companies. So always what I want to do is like one thing which actually kept in my mind is about the impact. The impact what I've been driving around these companies is very limited. It's limited to only a few people, a certain geography, or like it was a very small impact. And always wanted to take up the opportunity which actually brings in like much more impact. So when I was working on EB1A myself, I knew this process is really, really tough. And imagine the impact, right? The impact is if someone doesn't go EB1A, or even take my kids, right? If I did not go through EB1A, continued in EB2, probably it could take like forever for me to get a green card. It could take like 60 years or 70 years for me to get a green card, which I actually reduced it to year and a half for myself. And reducing it to less than a year, less than 6 months when Lara Powered Finance as well. So the impact is something which is actually in my mind, and that's the reason actually I started like EB1A Experts. And then, right, like was using a lot of knowledge, AI and everything, we're making the process better. But the most important reason is like, how do I have like such a big impact is something which we're taking.
Got it. Very inspiring, Raghu. So, Raghu, let's talk something very interesting and booming right now everywhere, and that's AI. You already know about it. So, can you explain how AI is helping to streamline EB1A process at EB1A Experts?
Yeah, you're right. Like AI is booming everywhere, especially in the last 5 years. I remember like working like was on AI 24/7 AI as a company. It was very nascent stages. Now it has actually a lot more than what it is. It has probably grown like 100-fold, 1,000-fold. I would imagine like EB1A process. Let's say it's a very complex process. If we break it down into small pieces, it's probably like 100 or 200 like small tasks. And each task can be categorized into a lot of like research, a lot of like content, a lot of quality check, a lot of like the approval check and everything. That's how I would actually categorize it. And even though we are doing the categorization, every specific thing, every specific task is a completely different thing. But our goal is like being an AI first company, we try to use AI to apply like what to say and solve that specific problem like using AI. The amazing thing, what is actually happening with AI is there are two important KPIs we always try to track. One is like the quality of the profile that's being built, which is like really amazing. That's coming out to be really, really well. The content, the impact is shown like really, really well with AI. That's one thing. The second important thing is like the time, right? If you do it more manually, more hands-on, it takes like a really long time. And with AI, we're actually able to cut it down the time by probably like 1/10 or 1/20th. I mean, you can take an example, right? Like when I did everything on my own, it took me like a year and a half to get things done. And now we are able to get things done, like what is it, in 4 months. So that's the impact of the AI, what we're actually getting right now, which is really, really amazing. And that's how we are actually using AI in the company.
Got it. So, we have heard about Turing AI at EB1A Experts. Would you want to put more light on what exactly Turing AI does?
Of course. So I mean, Turing AI is like our platform, like what we use AI, and it's an AI platform to solve the different problems around focused on EB1A at the moment. And so what we try to do is like there's a lot of different AI. There's generative AI we use. There's a lot of different types of AI we use to solve like a lot of different problems. And we call Turing AI platform as something a culmination of like all those different AI put together into a bundle. That's what we are actually using. And to be honest, like the platform is growing every day, and it's growing every day. It's not the same like what's like 1 month ago. The problems, the capabilities of the AI is growing, and so as like our platform as well.
Got it. Interesting, Raghu. So, Raghu, what's the biggest misconception that people have when they get into EB1A Green Card journey?
Mhm. One thing, I mean, this is a misconception which I had for a really, really long time as well. Everyone thinks like EB1A or any EB1 is for the people who are professors, who are researchers, who have like a lot of patents and hundreds of citations. This is the biggest like misconception stopping like many professionals to try for EB1A. I would say just to give a little bit more clarity on that, right? Let's even take like approvals what we got in the last like 3 months. I think we got around like 40 approvals in the last three and a half months, which is amazing per se. But looking at the data, right, I think 35 or 36 of them do not have a single patent, do not have a single citation, which shows that like what is that, this is the biggest misconception everyone has, and you technically do not need all those things in order to achieve like EB1A green card process. That's the biggest misconception which I have. Let's actually talk about the other misconceptions as well. The other thing, everyone thinks that I need to have a PhD, you need to have a really great education in order to be there. To be honest, EB1A is all about like your achievements, your impact. Education is something which I had a long time ago. Education is something which you are learning. I would say like what's education is immaterial add or like it has like very little to no impact in the whole EB1A process. That's the second misconception which people have. The other misconception is more of like everyone thinks it's EB1 is for managers only or for PhDs only. The manager myth or misconception like does come in because over the last decade, 70% of the green cards in EB1 were taken by EB1C, which is international manager quota, and you see like more people with EB1 around you as managers, and that's what you are actually thinking it is, right? So technically, you're not. You can be an individual contributor. You've been an individual contributor throughout your life. That's totally okay as long as you're doing good work. Definitely, you can work towards EB1A, and the chance of success should be really, really high.
Got it, Raghu. So, how does EB1A experts make it easier for tech professionals to meet their EB1A criterias?
Exactly. So this is let me give you the background as well. So one thing what we do is we have, I mean, 98% of our like clients are definitely like what is it, tech professionals. So one thing what we do is like when we work on a tech professional, there's a lot of different learnings like what we get, and we take all those like learnings back to our like what's the team's knowledge. That's one thing which we do. Or also like what is it, you could say like it goes back into our Turing AI platform, which makes our platform like much more stronger. That's something which we do. The second important thing is uh, uh, even like the familiarity like with the team. So familiar with the team like which grows up like day by day. But when we look at it, when you look at a profile right now, we can clearly say like what are the chances of success for them, and that's something which we clearly tell them to the clients as well when they sign up. The other important thing what we do at the moment is we can give like a lot of different like examples which can actually inspire the clients from because we have in tech and most of the profiles like within the tech have some of the other things which are connected, so that actually makes like our client's journey as well like much more smoother. So those are the different things like what we're actually trying to do at this time, which has actually been helping like the customers like with their whole success as well.
True, true. So let's talk about the success rate at EB1 Experts. So you have had an impressive success rate at EB1 Experts till now. So what do you think that sets your approach apart from others?
Exactly. So let's actually go a little bit more in detail. So we have give or take like 90 plus or 95% success rate so far. We have 58 approvals, which is really, really amazing. And again, like most like last 40 approvals, did I say? I think it came in the last three and a half months, which is really amazing. Um, The one thing which makes us like incredibly success is actually, let's me put it like two things, right? One is definitely like the AI. Our Turing AI platform is working incredibly well. Our AI methodologies, strategies are working really well. That's one thing. So the second thing which is actually helping the incredible success rate is we try to pull back the data and apply the data to the next profile. So when we work on a profile, we know like a lot of challenges which are coming through. We'll use those challenges back into the process, make the process better. There's a lot, to be honest, like every other month, like there are some things which change the whole profile building. That's actually working really well. The other and a little bit more nuance on the data point is right, it's not only just like challenges in the data. It's about like a lot of different learnings which could come, let's say, in the profile building process. It could come from the attorney. It could also come like when it goes to a USS officer, what they are pushing back, what they're actually thinking on it. Those are all the different learnings what we get based on like those learnings, those changes, like at every point in time. We'll come back, we'll bring those back in and then apply to the profile building process. And that's actually making us like incredibly successful.
Got it, Raghu. So let's say if someone's starting their EB1A Green Card journey, what's the one piece of advice would you give from your side about their journey? Raghu? Yeah.
Um, this is another thing which I usually talk about a lot as well. Try to focus on your work experience, right? So let's say someone who has a decade of experience, and which means that you have done so much great work, have worked on some great projects like overall, and there's a lot of achievements, a lot of different impact. And so use that knowledge to try to build on the things of it. It could be awards, it could be other things. Those are like derivatives of the work what you've done over that last decade or over your work experience. Use that as a base and bring other things as a derivative. That's something which I would tell anyone to do this thing. And that's the way, like, even USCIS officer, right? They look at the story. Yes, your profile is built over the last, like, how many number of years, which has actually been happening. That's the thing which I would say. That's the one most important thing. Anyone wants to work on it. That's what we do. And that's actually bringing us a lot of success. The same thing, which I would say, like, was it to do everyone as well.
Got it. So now let's talk about something really good things that inspired you and what others can take from you, Raghu. So how has your definition of success evolved over the years?
That's a very interesting question. To be honest, like until I started the company, it's just more, I was more thinking success is more about like personal success. I was just looking at like a lot of different things. How much knowledge did I gain? How many people I talk to? What is the level of the position which I'm actually be at is defining my success like overall. But once I started like the company, now the success is like more external. The success today is like how many approvals did we get? I know in the broader perspective, that's actually what we're trying to achieve. That's something which we are thinking. And definitely like there are a lot of different challenges which are faced by a lot of different people as well. So we solving those problems, solving those challenges, bringing the success to the customers, bringing learnings and the success to the team members within the company have actually like, I'll consider those two as like success right now.
Got it. So what's one lesson or belief that helped you to stay grounded during tough times or during the challenges?
That's another interesting question. To be honest, as I said, right, I've been in the industry for like since 2010, so for or like 14, 15 years of journey. What I've seen is it's always like goes ups and downs, right? So there are definitely tough days which happens, but consistently, if you work hard, there's always like what is it, that graph would actually go up. It happened to me so many times, and so that's something which I'm following. That's actually like having that experience of going through the tough things, making things better is definitely keeping me grounded on both sides. Right, when the tough things happen, we're grounded. When even like when you're super successful stage, when we get like 3 approvals or like 10 approvals in a span of week, we still wants to maintain that grounded position, be humble, and just to focus like, hey, what can we do next?
Amazing, amazing, Raghu. So, what do you think is the most important trait for a leader in today's fast changing world?
One thing, yeah, being a leader, right? You get so much advice from everyone. You could get advice from your team, from your customers, from people across the industry as well. The most important thing, what I see is like, hey, you ability to listen to everyone. Do not push back on everyone. Ability to listen to everyone, and then pick the important things and implementing them is like going to be the really really big thing as a leader today. That's something which I would keep in mind. But the other important thing as well is definitely solving the problems, right? It's not just like, hey, you think the strategy and just giving to someone else. Most important thing is like your ability to work with the team, make things happen, and I mean, more of like what I say, just action by us. That's very important. So you need to act on it rather than just think on it. Those two things I would say like set any leader apart from the other group.
Got it. So, Raghu, if you could share one piece of advice that shaped your life, what would it be?
Depending on the time of the year, and depending on like probably the year, I definitely have been evolving myself, reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of podcasts, talking to a lot of different people. But there are a few things which actually stuck my mind, and it's been like there for a really really long time. I would say like Naval Ravikant. He has a great podcast. Like he talks about like a lot of philosophy and everything. One thing what he clearly says is time value for the money. Just like you need to know like the time value and the money. So that distinction is like really, really important. To be honest, I was thinking about very small things. I was just more like penny pinching and pound foolish. Yeah, that's a word I want to use. I was just being that, but after listening to his podcast, that's when I realized like how much valuable like the time is. So just putting that into this one is really, really important. It's actually helps for every single person across the world. The other one is Jeff Weiner, his ex-CEO of LinkedIn. I'm a big, big fan of him, and he talks about like how data, how being trying to know like what exactly happening in your company is something really, really important. I'm very particular about like the data, although like what I say, at EB1 experts, we need to improve that processes a lot. But however, like what I said, just data tells you a story. Data tells you the problem, what's happening. Just make sure you understand the data and you understand the problem and implement these things. That's actually helping a lot with the company. The other two other important things, what I would say is like I'm also of course recently listening to Robert. His name is Hedgewick. Probably I'm not saying his last name right, but his from Shark Tank. If you search him, you would know. The one thing what he said is the momentum. One of the lessons he actually mentioned, like in recently, one of the YouTube videos I've learned is like the momentum. So when you are there, when you're working on things, when you have the momentum, like the chance of achieving things is much more than just going back, calming down things and getting things done. So that's something which is a very recent learning from me. And that's something which is very valuable, very important. And we're going to work on those things like at the company moving forward.
Got it, Raghu. So, what motivates you to keep pushing boundaries even after all your accomplishments?
To be honest, like I'm a little selfish on this side. This is something which I'm really liking a lot. Just pushing boundaries and making things happen is something which I'm really, really liking a lot. But the other important thing is, again, just going back to the impact, how much impact I'm actually creating, I'm driving like every day is something which is actually making me push like more boundaries.
Got it, got it. So, let's say for someone who is starting, and what was with the first step of building their career into AI and tech?
So there's a lot of things, right? To be honest, like today, compared to 10 years ago, there's so many resources about AI, so many resources about tech, like where can you start and how can you go? To be honest, like the first most important thing is like realizing the impact of it, realizing how AI and the tech is shaping the world. That's a very important thing. So once you have that belief, like once those, you know, like how much impact those things are happening, that's when like you start from. Like everything what you learn is going to be more fun, and that's where I would go from. But definitely just breaking into the tech career. I mean, say let's say like breaking into AI, breaking into tech, is much more, again, the way you look at it, right? Depending on the company, there's some companies is really tough to get in. There are some companies which is really easy. I would say just like in whatever the tech field you are, just think like how important the AI to the company is. Try to show and try to be there. That will be actually really, really important. So that's something which I would say like for the people who are starting in AI tech.
Definitely, Raghu. So, if a young professional like me and like us, so wants to work with AI but doesn't know where to start, what's the one thing they would focus more on?
So, I mean, right, the AI is everywhere, right? AI is in marketing, like for you right now. AI is obviously like in tech, like when someone's a coder, there's a lot of AI as well. See how can you use AI and get things done like more quickly. That's one thing. And that's where action, that's a very starting point, right? I would believe, not I would believe, but this is a truth, right? AI is a tool. So everyone, like, what is it? They get like more leverage. They get like more progression in their career, is because like how much more can you do at a specific job? How much more you can achieve? And AI, like a lot of like many other tools, like which someone can use to get things done, of course, is like a much stronger, much better tool. So that's where I would start, right? How can you use AI to get things done and more faster in your career? And that's how I would start.
Got it. So, what's your secret to making decisions with high stakes, Raghu?
Especially in the last couple of years, definitely have made lot of big decisions, lot of high stake decisions. Which direction should we go? Where should we focus? And what are the plans we need to have? Imagine like one of the biggest high stake decisions. What we said was getting things done in 6 months, and now getting things done like in 4 months, building a profile end to end, and just submitting the profile to USCIS to completing it and submitting I-140 petition is looks probably like it's a timeline game, but definitely it's a very high stakes one. It's a very organized process which we need to do in order to achieve that. But more important thing is, I would say, just like break it down. It's a high stakes one. Just break it down into small pieces and see like whether you could achieve those small pieces at one time, one at a time. And that's what we did actually regarding all the high stake decisions we are making. Break it down into small things, and you could do like all small things. Then definitely like clubbing all those things can be achieved. So that's something which we are doing at the company.
Got it. So, what advice would you give aspiring tech leaders who want to make a real life impact in their own field?
The most important thing, right? Just being a leader is much more than just like driving the company forward, right? Just keeping that sustainable growth is really important. My advice to everyone is definitely just try to understand, just have that empathy, try to understand the problem, and try to go to the actual core of the problem, which is really important. That's something which I would say, like just having empathy to keep it short. The other thing is just have that long-term vision, right? Long-term vision, what do you want to be, where you want to be? Let's say 10 years from now is like a really important thing. Because if you do not have that long-term vision where you want to be like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's really difficult to keep like your employees aligned to that vision. Because obviously, if you don't see it, they don't see it either. That's a very important thing, like just being a leader, being a normal leader. It could be tech or it could be non-tech, but coming to tech, is there's so many advancements like happening in tech. One important thing is how do you implement like all those not all, but at least like some of them in your company to make things better. So those are the three things which I would say like someone aspiring tech leader would actually like have to focus on.
Got it. Got it. So, right now, the current situation, people think and people fear that AI can take over the jobs. So, how would you see it creating opportunities instead?
So I would think more AI as like creation of electricity. I mean, even then, like when electricity come into picture, everyone thought like it would take away jobs. But like what is it? Over last many decades, like electricity have created many more jobs. The same thing is gonna happen with AI as well. Definitely, there will be change in things like what people are doing right now. People will do later on, but it's gonna create amazing number of jobs, and it's gonna take out like all the trivial things, right? I want to like, well, let's say cook, or like I want to just at least like get a small task done. you don't technically require like humans to do those things. I believe like what is it, humans of course like we need to do much bigger tasks, much better tasks, like not do like some trivial tasks. So AI is going to definitely take away like all trivial things. AI is going to be our assistant. AI is going to be there with us, make us achieve much more things and create like so many jobs in the process as well.
That's great, Rob. So Ragu, if AI could predict success, what metrics would you ask it to measure in your own life?
Yeah, at the moment, as you can see, like my complete focus is on like EB1A experts. So I would consider like the success of the company could be is the success of like myself. Thinking in that perspective, probably I would say like how much impact we are actually providing to like our customers. That's one thing which I want to see. The other thing which probably wants to measure right now is like the customer satisfaction. But the one thing which we have been really good at about the success, but something which we are trying to improve is on the customer like experience overall end-to-end process. We're really good, but definitely we need a slight bit of like improvements. That's something which I will ask like AI to predict. Those two things, if we get it right, then of course like what if we have a really great success in our career.
Got it, got it. So do you think AI will replace human intuition in leadership activities?
That's a very good question. So right now, at least like when I try to make a decision, what I try to do is I'll definitely ask like AI like what exactly it thinks like about my lot of my decisions. But however, the most important thing is I don't just like go by AI's decisions. I just try to like bring a lot of context, a lot of knowledge and everything and go from there. So technically, I mean, it's not in a state, at least like right now, it's not in a state to replace it, but it's definitely in a state to assist to actually make the decisions quicker, assist to make the decisions like more concrete.
So what's one popular belief about AI you think it's completely wrong?
Okay, so the one popular belief I would say is the question what you asked right now. It's like, hey, it's going to replace everyone. It's replaced like everyone, and we lose like a lot of jobs. That's what like what is I would say like one popular belief, which is going around, which is technically not true. The other thing is, I mean, AI does like all the work, right? Which is technically not true as well. AI is a tool right now, at least like in the current state, AI is a tool to get the work done. It definitely is cannot do like everything what you do at this time.
True, true. So till now we've asked, like, we've got so many insights, Raghu, very great insights and very amazing advices. So let's wrap up with more questions, like with few more questions. So reflecting on your journey, what's the biggest lesson life has taught you so far, Raghu?
Something, the persistence, right? The important thing is life is all about persistence. I know like what I say throws you a lot of curveballs. Like there's always going to be like tough times. The most important thing is how do you go back and be persistent and try to achieve like what you want to do. Those things are really, really important. It's important in a lot of things, and it's much more important in EB1A journey as well, because it's a lot of tough things. There's a lot of things you're going on in your personal life, and this is the most important milestone which you want to achieve. And one thing I would say is the persistence. Just think that you can achieve it and go about it. That's it. Like what I said, that will actually make things happen, and that's something which I would say biggest thing I learned like looking back to my career.
Amazing, Raghu. So if you could relive one chapter of your life just for the experience, which one would be and why?
There are different phases in my life. There is a education phase, definitely my bachelor's, my master's. There's definitely like what I say, startup experience before and startup experience right now. I know there's much bigger company right now. There's definitely like parts where I was like more working on certain things, right? Like the AI things and the internet things as well. So if I want to go back and relive like one specific experience, I would say just go back to my college life, right? Like the bachelor's and masters. To be honest, I mean, probably you all can relate to it, right? That's the time like where you're just like more chill, more relaxed. You have like group of friends to talk to, which is one thing which I did enjoy a lot. And the connections which I made in my bachelor's and masters is something which is like my closest connections, because you have time to spend there and just get things done. So that's something which I would clearly really would want to relive it just for the fun part of it.
I think everyone relate to the same thing as well. Yeah. So what's one question you wish people would ask you more often? How would you answer for it?
I'd say more on the EB1A. Let's go back more on the EB1A. The lot of people like they try to ask me questions about like the process, about like everything, but they don't ask me like questions about like not many questions about my journey. How did I actually get like EB1A? What are the challenges did I face? What are those things? Which is something which actually very less people ask me. That's something which I would say probably like people can ask me more questions, but actually let's talk about it like in that aspect. So as I said, like I came to the United States in 2014 and with the goal of like starting my own company. But like as soon as I started my master's, or like in the first month, I've realized like we need to have a green card. You need to go through a lot of process to actually like start a company. It's not as simple as it actually looks to be. So I did know about EB1A at the time. I did explore, and that's a way to get the green card faster. But at the time, I thought like, what's I'm not capable. This is actually all everything back in 2014. And long story short, right, I just went through the phase of like, I'm not like, I cannot achieve anything. I'm not like good for EB1A. But in 2020, I saw a blog post and that's actually changed like everything. There's another person who's like me and he got a green card by going through the blog post. And that actually like changed my opinion and made me persistent, just go one by one. There's a lot of challenges. And to be honest, it takes like another podcast just to talk about the challenges. But that story is something which is incredible, and I would definitely ask like what is it, whoever listening to it just probably can ask me those questions. I'll probably have more detailed like podcast for that. But that's something which I don't get many questions, and that's something which I really want to talk about as well.
For sure. Even we would love to listen all your challenges that you have faced on your journey, Raghu. So when all is said and done, what legacy do you hope to leave in the tech world and beyond?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a legacy per se, but more of like I'm like what I've grown because of the tech, and the tech helped me like what I said to grow like to what I am right now, to grow a company of like this big. The major thing what I want to do is like what are the things, what are the learnings, what I have. I just want to bring back to the people who is striving in the tech world, like all the professionals. So probably like if I look back, like probably like 10 years, look forward, right? 10 years from now if I think about it, is like how many people I helped. It could be EB1A, could be probably like if there is something, some other way I can help people. I mean, those are the people are probably I would call myself as my legacy.
That's really amazing, Raghu. Oh, Raghu, this has been absolute pleasure. Your insights into leadership, AI, and the EB1A process has been so inspiring and eye-opening. I'm very sure our listeners have learned so much, just like me, from this conversation. For everyone listening, if you found value in this episode, don't forget to share it with your friends and with someone who might benefit from Raghu's incredible journey and advice. Raghu, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story today.
Thank you for having me, Yamini. It's really a pleasure to talk through like all these things. I don't get an opportunity like this like every now and then. So it's good to talk through like all these things and relive all the things which are actually happening or in my life for the last decade and a half.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Raghu. Until next time, take care.